What's up, YouTube? My name's Andrew, and welcome back to 3DIY. This week on the show, well, I mean, it's the internet right now, so yeah, fidget spinners, right? Welcome back to the show! Okay, before I get started, I just want to say thank you to all of the people who've subscribed since my last video. I'm like over 400 subscribers already, and that is like blowing my mind. It's fucking intimidating, let's be real. So with that out of the way, these fucking things. They are all over the fucking place right now, and honestly, I see the appeal. They're fun, they like feel weird in your hand, and as a 90s kid, they remind me of a Beyblade, so sold immediately. Is it just me, or is there like way too much hype around this fidget spinner thing to even know how to begin to talk about it? I made fidget spinners. Let's just move on. But I didn't just make any fidget spinner. I, in typical 3DIY fashion, took my own nerdy spin on it, and I made a Mjolnir Thor's hammer fidget spinner. Honestly, I don't know why. I intend to sell these things and no one gives any fucks about Thor. So, bad call there. But it looks so cool. It's like, you know how like Thor like spins his hammer and throws it to fly? It's like that. And it's like a little fidget spinner. And it's got two bearings, so it kind of wobbles in a really magical kind of way. And I mean, look at me. I'm not making any eye contact with the camera right now. I'm fucking mesmerized by this thing. So, before I get started on how I created the Thor's Hammer fidget spinner, I want to give a huge shout out to Joel Telling, the 3D printing nerd, who made a couple of videos detailing how to make fidget spinners in Fusion 360, which you should definitely check out. Link in the description. It's going to pretty much be the template I follow for this tutorial. It's not a tutorial. I don't do tutorials here. What do? I just talk about what I make. The first thing I did after opening up Fusion 360 was create this inner cylinder that was going to house the bearings and create the center of the spinner. I made sure that the inner circle was just a fraction of a millimeter, don't ask me the fraction, I forget, bigger than the actual bearing measurements, just so that it would fit perfectly in place, nice and snug, so it wouldn't come out and I wouldn't need any glue. The other thing I did was that I made it a double high spinner, so the cylinder was twice as high as the bearings. That way I have two independent spinning bearings on either side, which gives it this kind of weird, wobbly, magical effect that I find very suiting of Thor's hammer. Not sure why I decided to do this other than the fact that Joel did it in his fidget spinner video, and I thought it worked out pretty cool for this, so why the fuck not? The other reason I did the double bearing setup was so that I could have enough room in the design to have Thor's hammer be proportional. If it was just the one bearing tall, I would have a pretty hard time making Thor's hammer not just like a little flat squished thing, and that's not exactly what I wanted here. I wanted it to look exactly like Thor's hammer. The hammer itself was really simple, just a rectangular box with a couple of beveled edges and a cylinder through the center for the handle. For a little extra detail, I added the Trinity/Celtic knot symbol on the side of Thor's hammer that's often there in Norse mythology, and is present in the movie to be representative of me talking too much about this. Now here's where the magic happens. Using the pattern tool in Fusion 360, I create, revolving around the center axis, I create two more identical hammers, perfectly balanced. And that's gonna look pretty much just like a fidget spinner, except a little bit more painful probably. I did some experimenting with a basic fidget spinner cap design I found on Thingiverse to see if I could save myself some time, but in the end I figured the Thor's hammer fidget spinner deserved a little bit more attention, and so I took Julie's advice. Hey Julie.
Hey.
And I used those big circular details on Thor's chest as inspiration on account of they are round, and fidget spinners are also round. Fucking solid logic there. And I created a little cap that I think has a little bit more personality and makes the whole thing look, you know, more impressive. Ended up looking a little bit like a wheel, but it spins, so the last thing you need for an effective fidget spinner is the counterweights. Now on these basic, like you see them everywhere, basic bitch fidget spinners, right? They use more bearings for the weights, but that sounds stupid. Like, why would you waste bearings on that when you can find other things that weigh things? Also, it's a Thor's hammer, so there's no room for a bearing in there, obviously. So I took the 3D printing nerd's advice and used nuts. So all I had to do was make a hexagon in Fusion 360, really easy, hexagon tool, and I just had to make that a little bit bigger than the dimensions of my nuts. Don't take that out of context. And I cut that out of the hammer. That way, once I brought it into the slicer program, all I had to do was cut the model in half before printing it, and then it would leave these hexagon-shaped cavities, perfect to glue in the nuts when I'm done. The other advantage to cutting it this way is to stop myself from needing support materials, since this particular division avoids overhangs. Okay, you guys know what time it is now. 3D printing montage! That was stupid, but this show is stupid. Do it. Honestly, I printed a few of these to test everything out and make sure that I got all of the sizes correctly. You'll see this first one was just disturbingly large. I don't know what kind of giant hands would be able to spin that, but I made it a lot smaller after that. And basically just refined the design, making sure that the bearings fit snugly and all of that, and everything was great. Once I had properly refined the design, I was ready to print out my final design, give it a nice coat of paint, and we can see this bad boy in action. So I've made some cool stuff on the show before. I've made some models, I've made cosplay objects, but this is my first straight up toy. Growing up as a very creative kid, I always wanted to make my own toys or augmentations on toys that I already had. And so making something like this, it's like an actual like proper interactive toy with like a nice paint job. It's really satisfying. I gotta say, this is like the biggest payoff in my opinion for having a 3D printer is just the cool shit you can make. I like this is like I took the idea of a fidget spinner and I was like, F that, make it nerdy. Thor's hammer. I mean, f***ing 3D printers, man. F***ing cool. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to find out more about this whole fidget spinner endeavor, I've got another video coming up this week about choosing the right bearings, which I think you guys might find interesting. And you can also check out Julie's channel, I'll leave a link in the description, which has a vlog up, just detailing more of the, personal aspect of the creation of this. It's pretty fun, you should check it out. Also, probably should have led with this, I'm selling these guys over on Etsy, just like every other 3D DIY creation I make. So if you want 10% off, coupon code right there, YouTube10, 10% off, go check it out. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching this episode of 3D DIY. Don't forget to click that like button if you liked it. Click or tap on the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you want to support the show and download the models I make here to print for yourself, head over to our Patreon.